Nancy Pelosi, she's got a day off this week from scaring the crows off the crops, and now she's after Donald Trump again. I'm going to tell you all about it in the Templar report. We've also got the death stare of Greta Thunberg. If looks could kill, President Trump would be dead the other day when he went into the UN. What it's all about, I'm going to tell you. Watch the Templar report and I'll see you there. Hello, Jim Dowson here, guest presenter with the Templar report. I want to talk to you today about some things that's going on worldwide, especially in America. I'm sure our American viewers and fellow Templars will understand the crossroads we're at the moment. We have the Wicked Witch of the West, also known as the Crypt Keeper, aka Nancy Pelosi, going after Donald Trump. Again, it's never ending with this guy, isn't it? I mean, I know there's a rumour that he sank the Titanic, but I don't think there's any merit in it. And he massacred Custard at in the Black Hills of Dakota. I don't think that's true either. But it wouldn't surprise me if the Democrats don't try and lay all of these things at his feet, along with the Great Depression and several other world-startling events. It's nonsense. It's crazy. It's getting mad. I've never seen a man anywhere on the planet being as abused as President Trump. You know, sometimes I live in Serbia and I don't understand a word of Serbian. So they've only got a few English channels, and one of them's, I'm going to use very foul language here, you need to excuse me, CNN. I've said it. CNN. Is that filmed in an institution? Is that filmed in a secure institution? Is anybody, I'm quite sure nobody watching this video has ever watched CNN. If you have, you should be ashamed of yourself and have yourself detoxed. I got up one morning about 7:30 and I put the TV on. CNN. Donald Trump's done this. Donald Trump's done that. Climate change was Donald Trump's fault. This. I thought, good grief, it's too early for that. So I put the TV off, got myself ready, went about my business, went and done the meetings I was doing. I was actually in the Serbian Parliament. Spoke to some important people. Went and had lunch, come back, got back in the house about 7 o'clock at night, put the TV on again, and Donald Trump, climate change, and Donald Trump, what? They were still on about it, and I thought, wait a minute, maybe it's when you regurgitate the news, I thought maybe it's that. So I watched it, no, this was fresh rants about Donald Trump. And it didn't matter what they spoke about, they were talking about at that time the handicap, the Special Olympics, and they managed to morph it into an attack on Donald Trump. Do you know what he's doing with the handicapped people of Nebraska? What's this? It was just constant diatribe. So that's what was going on in America. And this impeachment, well, I would warn that wizened hag Pelosi that she should be careful. Because when they tried to impeach a really nasty guy, Clinton, his poll ratings went up higher than they'd ever been before. So now, when they impeached Nixon, he had much the same effect until the whole thing came out. So the only thing President Trump's got to worry about is traitors maybe in his own side in the Republican Party, and there's plenty of them. So everybody should keep an eye on the traitors inside the Republican Party. Don't worry about the Democrats. I mean, they're crazy. I mean, most of them aren't there all the time in the House because they've got to go and get their meds topped up, or they've got to have the electrodes on their heads every couple of days. So don't worry about them. We need to worry about the traitors within the Republican Party. Donald Trump is an expert. I mean, he's like a majestic ice skater when you watch how he manipulates and hammers this media. It's like taking candy off a baby, as you Americans say. It's just fantastic. He is so far ahead of these people and how he manipulates them and digs wee holes for them and they all fall in it. It's every time. He's a master. He's the maestro. And he can reach the people where nobody else can. So I don't worry too much about that. Now, do I think he's going to get re-elected? I have my doubts, and I'll tell you why. Since the last election, there's a difference of about 7 or 8 million in America, and that's basically 2 or 3 million, what I would call wasps, falling off the electoral roll because they've died. Just old white people dying, and a lot of new ethnics coming on to the voting system, and we all know where their votes will go. So I don't know. There's about 7 or 8 million votes could go either way, but I really do hope President Trump wins. As usual, we will be campaigning fanatically that he does win, as we did the last time, to great success. Okay, got his ban deported out of several countries, and I think no doubt contracts put on us. But we were recognised by the New York Times, the BBC, CNN, and even Mr. Soros himself through his multi-agencies of the Templars being a massive problem in Trump getting into power. We are very glad to have done that. We're very happy, and we shall endeavour to do it again. Okay, moving on, but still staying in a Trumpish theme. Did you see President Donald Trump going to the United Nations the other day? He came walking in as usual, nonchalant self. But I don't know if you noticed behind him there was a leprechaun or one of these hideous, evil, wicked trolls, or what's these other little people they call them, these nasty wee creatures, you know, these goblins. A goblin, that's it, a goblin, not a troll, a goblin. There was a vicious, wicked-faced goblin giving them the death stare. Oh. And it was this Greta Thunberg. It wasn't a goblin, it was Greta Thunberg. Although I think the line is becoming increasingly blood between Greta Thunberg and goblin. It's becoming blood for me. But anyway, have a look at this.
Welcome to the UN, sir. Are you elected? Thank you very much. Mr. President,
Well, can you imagine anybody staring at you like that? Now, my mother would have slapped me across the face if I'd have stared at an adult like that. But I think for the first time there, we've seen the mask slip. You've seen the twisted, wicked, vicious face of a little fanatic who doesn't keep very well. And I would like to say that, you know, I believe this wee girl's been exploited. I really do. I think we've got two parents. Her mother's a failed opera star, and I don't know what her dad was, but he looks like a bum. And they're travelling the world with this wee girl, and they're making millions. It's like these vile parents have their wee kids, you know, in these dance, mainly in America, isn't it? They have their wee kids in these dance competitions, and they're all bitching and fighting and putting a lot of pressure on the kids because they're making the wonga, they're making the big bucks. And I think it's no more than that. I don't think it's in some sort of sinister plan. I think it's no more than that. And people who should know better have also got on board with this. But what the hell is a mentally retarded? You know, she's got learning difficulties. She's not well. She's got serious psychological and mental problems. You know, medically recorded. So I say retarded not in a nasty way. Half my cousins are retarded, so I don't mean anything bad by it. But since when did a mentally retarded child have centre stage in the United Nations? No wonder the world is going down the pan at such a rate. It's ludicrous. And you know, if you don't believe me that she's not right, have a look at this.
How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering, people are dying, entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
What was that all about? What was that all about? She's growling at people. I've got a dog that makes those You have no right. You have no right. You've destroyed my childhood. No, I'll tell you who's destroyed your childhood, love. Whoever has been pumping your wee head full of world-shattering, world-changing, scaremongering, doom and gloom, fear-mongering propaganda into your wee head. That's why you can't sleep at night. So who did that? Parents? Who was it? Somebody has scared the bejesus out of that wee girl. And now she really believes the world's going to end like that other crackpot, that American bloody politician, what's her name, that Mexican-looking thing? Cortez. She says we're all going to die in 12 years. The world's going to end in 12 years. 12 years. Bang, it's all over. Well, I'm actually laughing because I took a loan out recently for 15 years, so I'm going to get my own back in the banks. I hope the bank doesn't watch this. There'll be a recall. But what rubbish, what nonsense, what lies, and how disgraceful to do that to a wee child. What did they do? Did they creep into your room at night? Oh, hello, mummy, would you read me a story? Oh, daddy, yes, we're going to read you a story. You're going to die before you're 30. You're going to burn as the planet bursts into a burning ball in the middle of the universe, and your skin's going to peel off as you die. Or there's not going to be any water left, and you'll die clutching your throat, horribly emaciated because there's no food. Good night. Good night, Greta. No wonder the wee girl's bananas. Because somebody's done that to that wee girl. But anyway, I want to show you something else. Because a lot of folks say, oh, she's a poor wee soul and she's a nice wee girl. She wants to save the trees. Did you know that? Trees cry. So that programme I did, when you cut a cucumber, they scream. She's into all that stuff. Oh, save the planet, save the planet. I'm so lovely. And I just want everybody to be happy and world peace. Well now, have a look at this. Do you see it? Antifa. She's wearing an Antifa t-shirt. What next? Black Panthers? You know, FARC? ETA? Hezbollah? Hamas? I bet she's got them. Bet she's got them, but she just wears them around about the house. Doesn't want anybody to see them. Especially the Americans who keep getting her money. Stop giving that crackpot money. It's going to your mum and dad. Don't give her any money. But there you go. Now, she was caught wearing this Antifa t-shirt. And obviously somebody said, what are you wearing an Antifa t-shirt for? And you're giving it this, I'm all peace and love. Let's ride through the town in my pink unicorn. And you're wearing an Antifa, violent, communist t-shirt. Here's what she tweeted. Oh, I know nothing about it. Somebody just left the line about and I borrowed it. Oh, I don't know. You know who she borrowed it off of? Have a look. Her parents. She borrowed it from her parents. Because there they are all walking. It's at an airport. They're all walking down the street or through the airport. And they're all wearing Antifa t-shirts. Now it all becomes clear. So now we have an extremist family who support communist violence against elected representatives and good patriots from America to India, all across the world, Antifa going about bombing, shooting, stabbing, killing, wrecking, tearing, destroying. And she's worried about a bloody polar bear not having an ice cube big enough to stand in the Antarctic. Or, no, they don't live there, do they? Penguins live in the Antarctic. Right, she's worried about penguins not having enough ice to stand on in the Antarctic and a polar bear going astray in the North Pole. But she doesn't mind violent leftist thugs caving the heads in of good American patriots in Portland, does she? She doesn't mind people, British politicians, getting attacked with sticks and darts in the streets of London because they happen to support Brexit. Or she doesn't mind people being shot dead in Genoa and other cities across Europe, like Berlin and places like that, where Antifa have murdered people. That's fine. But don't change the climate because the squirrels will die in Newfoundland. She is full of it. And the people they really blame are the marketing team round about her who are making millions. Yeah, folks, I'm sorry to tell you this. It's all money as usual. All money as usual. She's a poor wee soul who's been manipulated by her parents for money. Because I don't know, they look like a pair of bums. And a marketing team who are all on a commission basis and they're making a fortune at this wee girl. And people are stupid enough to say, oh, she's so sweet. Sweet? Why would you think that if she was wearing a Hitler Youth t-shirt? Because Antifa, maybe even worse than a Hitler Youth. Just nobody's tackled them yet. So that's who she is. You know, and she says she doesn't know. Look, this girl knows to the millimetre the Antarctic ice shelf thickness. And she doesn't know who Antifa is, really. Well, if she doesn't know who Antifa is, she needs to stop wandering about the world talking garbage and go back to school because there's something lacking in her. But she knows fine well who Antifa are. So does her parents. And that's who these people are. That's where they come from. They're hardcore leftists. And they support violent insurrection and the destruction of our Western ways. That's who she is. And that's all this horse manure about climate change is just another nail in the coffin of our Western Judeo-Christian democracies. That's all it's about. Make no mistake about it. But anyway, they'll all come to an end. Because make no mistake about it, at some point in the not too distant future, what age is she? 16? Oh, do you remember Miley Cyrus at 16? What a sweet girl. What a lovely girl. You take her home to meet your mother, wouldn't you? You wouldn't take her now to meet a load of sailors. She'd terrify them. She's But she's went insane. She's completely mad. She's a absolute filth-ridden whore of a woman. So this wee girl, sweetness and light, apart from her violent T-shirt stuff and all that political persuasion, but I'm sure she's going to hit a Miley Cyrus moment any minute. And know that I rejoice in anybody's misfortune, but I think it'll be interesting. Do you not think that'll be interesting? It'll be very interesting indeed. But that's what's going to happen, sadly. And I've got daughters, so I hope it doesn't, but I've got a horrible feeling that wee girl will go right off the deep end. Right off the deep end. So, I also want to just bring to your attention that all of this climate change stuff is nonsense. All of it. These people, and her, I seen her today in an aeroplane, travelling back to wherever she comes from, and she's sitting there stuffing her face with fast food, all grown in the ex-Amazon, which is now the Pampas. That's where McDonald's now and get their beef, and it all comes from these kind of places. And she's stuffing her face with all the junk fast food, which is all grown in places where they've chopped down the rainforest, and it's all plastics and all sorts of stuff. No problem. Because cha-ching, she's got her dough, she's off home. Her parents will be ever so happy that the wee cash cow has came through. And, you know, before her, there was guys like Sting. Do you remember Sting? Sting, he played with a rock group, if you could call it that, called The Police. I quite liked some of their stuff, The Police. Yeah, I quite liked them. But anyway, Sting, he went absolutely crazy years ago. Stripped all his clothes off. He went to the Amazon, then he took his clothes off. He went to the Amazon, stripped off, painted himself up with bones and sticks through his hair. He became part of this indigenous tribe, and he was up trees bare-assed. And he lived there for months with these Amazonian Indians, like one of them, naked, drinking that crazy stuff that gets you your mind and everything. But twice a week he flew as executive chef from Manhattan to London to cook his boy's favourite dinner. Nonsense. Utter nonsense. And these are the multi-millionaires, if not billionaires, who are lecturing us that we shouldn't be doing this and we shouldn't be doing that. Look, most working people watching this video, you struggle to feed your kids. You struggle to keep a roof over their heads. You can't be wandering about the shops on a Saturday looking for sustainable cucumbers or, you know, packaging that is recycled. Who cares? We've got to try and feed the kids. Everything's happening. The mortgage is due. The factory's on short time. We don't have the time, Mr. Sting, to do that. While you're sitting up a tree with no clothes on, with your face painted like an imbecile. You know, we've got lives to lead, and they're hard, and most people's lives are hard. If we had the luxury, like you, we would maybe use our time better than you do. And I don't think most normal people would fly their executive chef across the Atlantic a couple of times a week to cook their son his special dinner. I think it'd been better if you just stayed in the house and been a father. You'd have cut your carbon footprints and you'd have been a much better dad. Anyway, that's all from the Templar report. Again, we wish Donald Trump all the very best. He is a great president. In my opinion, he's one of the best presidents America has had the wonderful opportunity to have presiding over them. We will do all we can coming into election season, which is not far off now. So you need to start getting ready, because make no mistake about it, the old left-wing boys, they'll be ready for this fight, because they hate Trump like nobody's ever hated anybody in the history of the world. So we need to all start planning now to make sure Donald Trump is re-elected as the President of the United States of America, and maybe in the second term he can actually start doing something. Again, I want to remind you, on this video, press like, press subscribe, and then press the wee bell that pops up. I'm not very good at this, I apologise, but that's what you've got to do. And remember, if you're not already a Templar, you should be. You should really consider joining the order. If you are a member, you have a duty to support the order, and our work is worldwide. We're operating in many, many countries across the globe. Brothers depend on you. And remember, you can go in, we've got new swords in, we've got new axes and all that kind of stuff. But that's what we do to bring the money in, to keep the whole thing going. So thanks very much for listening. Stick close to God, you won't go far wrong, and I'll see you again on the Templar Report.
The threat is real, and we are on the front line. In a world of misinformation and attacks from the left and mainstream media, censorship, deplatforming, it is time to call out the fake news and bring you the truth. We are the Knights Templar. Visit our website and join today. We are the resistance. Deus Vult.
Nancy Pelosi! Is it Pelosi? Oh, start again. Pelosi? Pelosi or Pelosi?
Pelosi.
Pelosi. Pelosi. Okay.
Slowly you're turning the Alex Jones.
I know. Every bit. You ready then?